Welcome to the Mesozoic Media Park. Now, the goal for this park is to fill it with as many movie, show, and documentary dinosaurs as we possibly can. This time, we will be tackling Dinosaur Revolution, an absolutely amazing dinosaur documentary that I was obsessed with when I was younger. Had some really fun and interesting dinosaur designs too. So last time, of course, we did Impact Crater from Path of Titans, and the reason why I'm bringing that up is because I forgot to highlight the Concavinator. I completely missed it, but I did put it in here. Yeah, so Concavinator is in there. I will also place a few more creatures in there that some of you mentioned I should have put in there. We'll do that towards the end of the video, but for now, we're going to get started on Dinosaur Evolution. So for this one, I have two enclosures in mind. The first one is going to be Cryolophosaurus. This is probably one of the only spots that I'll have the chance to even do Cryolophosaurus, so I have to take advantage of that. There is that one scene where there's a male Cryolophosaurus with a female, his mate, of course, and they're challenged by a rival male. This huge red Cryolophosaurus that's able to flush blood into his head and his crest and everything like that to make himself look brighter and more intimidating. Very interesting stuff. So I think it's going to be a cool thing to try to replicate. It's not the most interesting of enclosures. That's why I'm doing more than just one enclosure from this documentary. The other one that we'll be doing is T-Rex, of course. In fact, that'll probably be what's in the thumbnail. The T-Rexes look awesome in that documentary, and I really can't do them justice in this, unfortunately. It's times like this I'm considering to just getting this game on PC and then just using mods for this series because there are some limitations. The T-Rex is in there. They have this really cool kind of skull going on, the outside of their head just looks like a skull, essentially. It's really striking and cool, and one of the cooler documentary T-Rexes that exists out there. But this one, what I'm kind of just thinking is just surrounding it with vegetation similar to how it is in the documentary, and that's about all I could do. I don't know what else I can realistically do to make this stand out. Of course, we'll have dirt again. Pretty cool moment in this, though. They actually recreate the leaping Laelaps, which is this amazing piece of paleo art, which is one of the first examples of dinosaurs being more than just lumbering cold-blooded lizards. It depicts what was known at the time as Laelaps, but we now know it to be Dryptosaurus, just in combat with one another, and it's an amazing piece of paleo art. And the fact that they recreated it in the documentary, I thought was really cool. So what I'll do is we'll rely on our trusty log here, because what's happening in the episode, or in the, well, yeah, I guess the episode, they do have a nest, right? There's a nest. This will be said nest. And then what we'll do from there, this is where the nest will be. What we'll do from there is sink it, I guess, a little bit. Doesn't look great. Might have to do what we did with the Maiasaura enclosure. There. There it is, the nest. I'm going to surround this with vegetation too, just to kind of make it seem like it's something that is intended. That doesn't look terrible. You just have to pretend that there's eggs in here. That's really all you can do. Other than that, there's really not much else I can do, instead of just adding my own personal flares. I think I'm just going to add some rocks here. I think some rocks will help make it come to life a little bit more. So just some huge rocks all over the place. Okay, that doesn't look bad. Again, the main draw for this one for me was just having Cryolophosaurus in here. I think Cryolophosaurus is a very fascinating theropod, and I thought it was a great idea to have it in this park. Because, as of right now, we don't have it. Despite all of these dinosaurs, we still don't have it yet. And I just realized that there is the distorted effect on the recording. I apologize, everybody. Let me fix that. There we go. It's fixed now. I do apologize for that. Sometimes I'm usually able to catch that while I'm recording, and I'm able to fix it beforehand, but I just did not see it this time. I'll try to hide that as best as I can in the actual editing. That is the Cryolophosaurus enclosure. Let's go ahead and do the T-Rex enclosure right next to it. What I have in mind for the T-Rex enclosure is there's that one scene where two of them are fighting on a beach. And I think it looks really cool. I think it'll look like be something that stands out quite a bit. I won't make this enclosure too overly huge. I don't know why I made the Cryolophosaurus enclosure overly huge, but we already have so many T-Rex enclosures anyway. I think that we can stand to have a small one. Let's see if I can make this work. I want the biggest draw to be the fact that they're fighting, of course. But wait, no. I wanted to include a second part to this enclosure. Okay, so I'm going to place this somewhere that has a little bit more space. We'll just place it over here towards the back. So we'll just make a decently sized enclosure. Again, not too large, but large enough like that, right? And then what I have in mind is we'll split this enclosure in half, and you'll see what I'm doing here in a second instead of just me explaining it right here. Now this half is going to be all nice and sandy and like a beach and everything like that. Some water down here. Might be able to link this with another enclosure in the future. It's kind of jarring to see it like this right now, but hey, what are you going to do? Then I'll place a ton of vegetation, like just a wall of vegetation over here. And of course, rocks. Lots and lots of rocks. Okay. And then back here, my idea is to place just a lone Triceratops. And what that represents is the one point in the documentary where the Tyrannosaur mates, they take down a Triceratops. It's basically it. That's what I plan on doing with that. I think the trees were a little bit different there, but I'm just going to place... no, I need some a little bit more. We'll place these kind of like that. We'll place a singular Triceratops in here, and then the two Tyrannosaurs over here. And of course, they'll just remain separated from each other to keep the references to those two scenes alive, to keep them intact, you know? So without further ado, let's get these creatures in here. And while we're waiting for that to finish, someone had a fantastic idea. That idea was to put down the skeleton of a T-Rex towards the beginning of the park. That way it can represent Rexy from Night at the Museum. Fantastic idea. Of course, I already have these two skeletons set up, but these pretty much represent Jurassic Park. In fact, I want to put like the Jurassic Park gate up somewhere. I am not against having another one that represents Rexy. Once we're done with the park, I'm going to like get rid of all of these hatcheries and stuff like that to make it look like more of a grand entrance for paleomedia and stuff like that. So this will be a nice another piece of like decoration to have. So I'll go ahead and place it right here, I think. Or actually, can I make it on like a giant pedestal, or not necessarily a giant pedestal, but like a small pedestal, similar to how it is in Night at the Museum? Maybe if I could just raise this just a little bit, right? Like that, and then flatten it a bit. Let's get rid of that. How about this? Can I just, no? I just need to raise it just a tiny, tiny bit. How about I put it somewhere else? Maybe I'll put it right here. Then flatten like that. Okay. There we go. That's a little bit of a pedestal right there. And then I believe that the floor that Rexy's on is kind of like made to look like it's rock or dirt or something like that. So I could, similar to this right here, place just some of this like that. Yeah, it doesn't look terrible. Is there anything else that I can put here that kind of helps it look better? And that's not bad. Not to say that's bad or anything. Here, let's go and place Rexy down. I can always move it if I need to. We'll just put Rexy right there. There's Rexy from Night at the Museum, and then we have the Jurassic Park, or the Jurassic Park T-Rex and Alamosaurus over here. So cool. It'll definitely look a lot better when I can actually fix this whole area up and make it look a little bit more just better. Anyway, let's go and see our creatures. They should all be delivered by now. We'll start with the Cryolophosaurus. I did finish their enclosures first. So, here we have them. There's this one. Here's that one. I can't remember who is supposed to be who. Their colors kind of look slightly different in the species viewer. But this one should look more blue. Yeah, this one's the smaller male that kind of gets messed up by the larger red male. I think this one is supposed to be the female. She has like more of a tanner color. Then this one, who is a little bit more red, is the male that has to fight the challenging male has to fight this one right here. They're really cool, though. I really do like the way the Cryolophosaurus looks in this game. I think that Frontier did a pretty dang good job at that. So I'm pretty excited to have them. I think that this male in particular looks fantastic. Really cool color scheme going on. So yeah, they're not going to fight each other, but they represent a fight. Now, let's check out these guys. So just the classic kind of darker gray coloration. I tried to go with as light a colors as I possibly could in a contrast with that. These two are the ones that'll just fight each other over here. And then, of course, over here is the Triceratops. That's just hanging out, getting ready to be eaten by the male and female. Great. So before we leave today, I'm going to add a few more creatures to the Path of Titans area. So stay tuned for that in like 2 seconds. Okay, now here's a few extra additions to it. We have Carnotaurus here, wow, that was embarrassing. I just saw the colors and I was like, that's Carnotaurus. Oopsies. We have Edmontosaurus here, represents Barsboldia in the game. We have a Troodon here that represents Latinaviatrix, which is a Troodontid. What else did I add? There it is. There's Carnotaurus. We have Carnotaurus here that represents Pycnonemosaurus. Then we have Pachycephalosaurus that represents Pachycephalosaurus. I don't know why I forgot to put this guy last time. And I think that's it. At least I hope that's it. Last time I missed something. Hopefully I didn't this time. I think that's it. I think that's all of them. Okay. Yeah. I think so. Yeah, I'm going to say that's all of them. So, yeah, that is another episode for the books. Again, I say this every time, but we are getting very close to filling this place up. I think we are getting extremely, extremely close to adding Jurassic Park and Jurassic World creatures. I really want this last space to be dedicated to something like that. But first, there are still some other projects that I do desperately want to get done, such as, what is it called? March of the Dinosaurs. That one has been requested quite a bit, so I definitely want to do that one. Once I do that, we might move on to Jurassic Park and Jurassic World, and then release all of the dinosaurs and prehistoric creatures and see who is superior, even though that fight won't go too well. We'll just make a separate save for that so that we don't actually lose any of the park. But I think it'd be a fun way to kind of end things off with that. But yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please considering leaving a follow and liking. I don't know, doing all that good stuff because it really does help the channel. And thank you guys so much for watching. Have an awesome day.